How's it going, everybody? It's Prod here, and today I'm bringing you guys a new Dark Souls 3 video. And before I get into it, I just want to apologize. I have indeed used this gameplay before in a video from a couple of weeks ago. If you saw that video, then you probably recognize that it's just me destroying a fight club with the Black Knight Great Axe. But I actually had a bunch of gameplay saved up, and I'm pretty sure that I deleted them. Like, I had a bunch of matches and invasions and gang spanks and stuff like that I just recorded when I'm not doing live commentaries and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I deleted him like a moron. But today we're going to talk a little bit about Dark Souls 3 and mainly focusing on the things that are not in Dark Souls 3. So I'm going to name off about 10 things that I really wish were in Dark Souls 3 that aren't, stuff from like previous games and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Dark Souls 3. I'm pretty sure I'm closing in on like 7 days played on this fucking game. You know, I'm still really enjoying it. But there are just some things that I really think need to be in this game that either were in previous games or just some stuff that I think would make this game better. Now, there is no particular order that these are going to go in. It's just going to be 10 different ones. But number 10, one thing that I was really disappointed with, because I honestly think that I thought they were going to do it. I went into it thinking they were going to do it, but different enemy placements for New Game Plus. Now, that is one of the most disappointing things going into New Game Plus. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys going into New Game Plus thinking things were going to be different, maybe different enemy types in specific spots, similar to the change that we got from Dark Souls 2, and then going into Scholar of the First Sin, there was different enemy placements and made the game fresh and new, even though it was the same game. And I really did think they were going to do that. But besides just regular enemy placement, you know, they did put in rings like New Game Plus rings, like +1, +2, and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure the max is +3, I think. So you had to go all the way up to like New Game +3 to actually get all the rings in the game for the achievement if you're a person who goes for all the achievements. Usually I'm not the type of person who will go for all the achievements in a game. I don't really care. But, you know, it does kind of suck that you have to continuously keep going in New Game Plus to get all the rings, even though it's always been that way. But like I'm saying, man, at the moment I am in New Game Plus. I haven't gone forward just because I want to keep PvPing on this character, and this is like my favorite spot to PvP in because it's the spot that has the most people in it. So I haven't moved on yet. I probably will, or I'm just going to end up making a new character, which I really need to start on soon to work out some fun, different builds. I definitely want to try a luck build because they seem really goddamn strong at the moment. But keeping in theme with stuff like New Game Plus, now this isn't super important, but I think it would be a cool addition to this game, but Bonfire Ascetics. That was something from Dark Souls 2 that we had. Basically, if you don't know what that is, anytime you defeated a boss, you use the Bonfire Ascetic in an area, and it basically respawns the boss, makes everything the way it was. Does it put the rings back and stuff? I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure it's just like it respawns the boss again, but it actually ups the difficulty. So for example, if you were New Game +1, you killed the boss, you use a Bonfire Ascetic, the boss will come back, and it would be New Game +1 or New Game +2 difficulty, my bad. I think that would be a really cool addition, especially since, like I said, there's people who don't want to continue from just regular New Game Plus or just regular New Game, but they do still want to kill bosses, and not only kill bosses but host fight clubs, because at the moment the most people that you can summon without the boss in the area, I'm pretty sure, is 1, maybe 2 people, and whenever the boss is dead, or whenever the boss is still alive, I'm pretty sure you could summon like 5 people, so there could be like total of 6 people, plus when it comes to phantoms as well. But since we get into the phantom area as well, I wish they had the small white soapstone, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to feel my pain in the small white soapstone, because basically if you don't have the boss alive in your area, you can't summon any friends. I actually like doing something that maybe some people might hate, but I think it's really fun. Usually I summon my buddy, like I said, in this area, since I have the boss still alive, and usually I'll pop something like a dried finger so that we could easily get invaded by multiple people. Then we just wait for multiple people to invade us, and we have an all-out war, 2v2, 3v2, stuff like that is super fun. Now, we're not ganking these people because I think that's just a fucking dick move, which people seem to be doing a lot recently, but I think that is one of the funnest things that you could have, a situation where it's like 2v3, 3v3, stuff like that, where it's all out war. fucking fun in this game, man. I would say go ahead and try it out. It'll probably be one of the funnest situations you could get into in this game. But another thing that I wish was in Dark Souls 3, which I'm sure we're gonna get. We've only had Dark Souls 3 for like less than 2 months, and that is proper weapon balance. At the moment, some weapons are way too overpowered. With the new system that we have, having basically no poise is basically useless. Hyper armor is king in my opinion. Even though you see this guy fucking destroying me with the S-Dog right there, I couldn't do anything about that. But when it comes to having a big weapon, in my opinion, a big weapon like the Black Knight Great Axe right here is going to be king over anything else. The way hyper armor works, basically, if you're a decent player, at least not even decent, if you can time your attacks properly and you learn proper spacing with weapons, you can basically beat any little weapon like a Dark Sword. People say Dark Sword is overpowered. Fuck no, it is not against the Black Knight. Try your fucking Dark Sword against a fucking Black Knight Great Axe. You will easily get destroyed. But that is because of the hyper armor that these big weapons have. I hope that it gets properly balanced a bit. It is a bit too overpowered at the moment, I think, when it comes to the hyper armor. Obviously, it's the only way that something like a Black Knight Great Axe is going to win against a really fast weapon. But, you know, it does need to be toned down, I think, a little bit, even though it is the system that I'm definitely using the most, because I'm always using these bigger weapons rather than these smaller weapons like the Dark Sword or something like that. But that's definitely one thing that I hope gets a little bit fixed, but hopefully not completely ruined like proper From Software fashion. They typically, if they try fixing something, they either go too far to the left or too far to the right. You know, hopefully it gets properly balanced. But next up, I really wish, even though fight clubs and stuff like that are fun, I think Arena would be fucking dope in this game. One thing that I was really hoping to come back from Dark Souls 2 was Arena. It was one of the best, funnest things to do in Dark Souls 2, even though typically the people in Arena were a lot better than the regular people, let's say fighting on the Iron Key Bridge. It's usually fun if you just want to go in there, play matches back to back, and consistently, you know, you're going to get some good matches that are going to be fun and maybe a little bit competitive. But sometimes it could get a bit too competitive for people who are like ridiculously good. Since I wasn't that great in Dark Souls 2, but there was people who were really good in that game. Hopefully we get to see an Arena. I would definitely love some type of Arena in the next Dark Souls DLC, or in the first Dark Souls 3 DLC, I should say. That's definitely something that I hope comes back from Dark Souls 2. And another thing from Dark Souls 2 that, and it just seems like they did kind of just avoid everything from Dark Souls 2. Like, obviously Dark Souls 2 is their game. It was a From Software game, but since it didn't have Hidetaka Miyazaki at the helm, they were just like, you know, let's act like this game never happened. It never happened. So a lot of stuff that was good in that game just straight up got ignored, and nobody really even cared about it. Didn't even try putting it in this game, such as Twin Blades. Now, Twin Blades can be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit iffy, like the Red Iron Twin Blade. There was one point in Dark Souls 2 where it was fucking stupidly overpowered, even though it became one of the easiest weapons to counter with a parry. But I definitely wish that we got some type of Twin Blades. They were some of my favorite weapons from Dark Souls 2. And obviously we have our own unique weapons in this game with the paired weapons that have completely different movesets whenever you press left bumper and dual wield them. But I do wish we had proper dual wielding as well. I think proper dual wielding would have been better in this game, because at the moment, dual wielding kind of sucks when it's not just a regular paired weapon. Because basically, if you guys haven't tried dual wielding in this game, it's not like Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 had a fantastic dual wielding system. Basically, if you put a weapon in your hand, on your left hand, if you're using a weapon on your right hand that's your primary, you can only do the strong attacks, and the regular right bumper attacks, I'm pretty sure, just blocks, and that's all it does. It basically takes away all the creative moves that you could do from a game like Dark Souls 2 that would make dual wielding really fun and effective. Another thing that I think would be, and I have a bunch going through, I'm just going through these really quick, but another one that I really do wish that does pertain to actual dual wielding is power stancing. I really miss power stancing from Dark Souls 2. I think that is, in my opinion, the best thing that Dark Souls 2 had as an addition, and I'm sure it would have taken a lot more time to actually put that into the game as well, because it would have added a bunch of new moves for different weapons and stuff like that. But I think it was a really, really fun addition to Dark Souls 2, and I do miss it. Next up, And this one is a little bit iffy after a video that I saw, and I'm gonna link that video in the description because I think it is a fantastic video, and it's about Poise. Now, the Poise system in Dark Souls 3 is obviously non-existent. There's basically no Poise at the moment, no reason for Poise to be there, no reason to use really heavy armor that puts you right on the edge, maybe even fat rolling, because, you know, at the moment there are, you know, the heavy armors like Smiles armor and stuff like that. No real reason to use that because it's not really going to help you out when it comes to Poise. But like I said, check out that video. It's a really good video that explains the Poise system and hyper armor really well and why it shouldn't be in Dark Souls 3, and that kind of made me change my mind, being like, you know, will Poise really be good for this game? But I would love to see something similar to Dark Souls 2, because I do think that something like Dark Souls 2 Poise would be at least useful in this game. Because like I said, even when it comes to these smaller weapons, trading with hyper armor is not going to do it. You're going to get destroyed every single time when using a smaller weapon against the bigger weapons. But the last thing that I want to talk about are Lloyd's talismans. Now, I'm not going to say too much because I did make a video all about invading and how invasions need fixing. If you want to watch that, you can click on the screen right now, or you could check the description. But I do wish Lloyd's talismans were a little bit different. They do need a little bit more fixing. For number one, they need to be unlimited whenever you invade somebody. The fact that you only get 5 is pretty ridiculous. I even said in that video, I use 5 just on the fucking ground trying to throw them at the host or the phantoms, and every single invasion is a gang, so you need multiple. I wish they had a bigger AoE. Definitely needs to be wider, because usually it's bam, you hit them, it could be right in front of them and it'll just not hit them and won't affect them at all. Definitely that needs a fix. But that has been 10 things that I wish. I hope that's fucking 10. I'm pretty sure that's 10. But that has been things that I really wish were in Dark Souls 3, and maybe we'll see in the future. But like a bonus one, you know, we need easy mode. Easy mode in Dark Souls 3? No, I'm fucking kidding. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Look at that guy get betrayed right there. Oh well. Goodbye, Fight Club. And goodbye to you guys. Talk to you guys later. Peace, everybody.